for now. We're recording. So the leadership gap um, is what this webinar topic is about. So and let's start here. So a lot of times we're frustrated with your businesses, with your marketing efforts, and how do you increase revenue? So most small businesses believe that you need either to get more leads, maybe better ads, more content, better SEO. Um, and that could be sometimes the issue, um, but sometimes it could also just increase a bigger issue, a bigger, deeper issue that you might have in your business. And that's what I refer as the leadership gap. So it can be the leadership gap. You don't have a marketing problem, but you have a lack of direction. And I broke it down into five different items, most common. And number one is like the company that kept asking for more leads, a business posting constantly with no positioning, a business blaming ads for broken sales processes, a startup that constantly changing priorities, and a company obsessed with tactics and not goals. And I can break like each one of those for you guys. So the company that keeps asking for more leads, such as like, if a team launches more ads, more landing pages, and more email campaigns, you do get a lead increase, but your sales is still do not improve because the leadership has never been defined what a qualified lead actually is. The number two, the business posting constantly with no positioning. A company can hire a social media manager or produce content every day, and then the posts can even maybe look polished, look very professional. Videos are consistent and engagement is decent, but the revenue barely moves because leadership never clarifies the brand's positioning. What is your target audience or what's your unique value? So the issue was not a lack of execution, but it was that nobody set the strategic foundation on that one. For the number three, the business blaming ads for a broken sales process. A company can spend a lot of money in paid media, like paid ads, um, and you get strong click-through rates. And maybe the owner assumes that marketing is failing because the closing rates are weak. But a lot of times the problem is the sales follow-up is slow or inconsistent, or there's no clear handoff between your marketing and your sales. So the marketing did its job in that case, but other part on your process fails. So number four, the startup constantly changing priorities. This is very common in startups if you have a clear focus. Um, a startup starts marketing to promote one product this month, and then you switch out to another audience next month, and then a new offer the next month after that. And the team keeps producing campaigns, emails, and messaging on demand, but your performance is going to stay inconsistent because there's no stable strategy. You have no focus on clear, clear client that your target client, and no clear growth priorities. So your execution will look messy, and the real issue here is your leadership creating constant direction changes. And then number five is, if the company is obsessed with tactics instead of goals, this can also be considered um, the shiny object syndrome. So every time something new comes up, especially now with AI, so many new tools are coming out like every day, and you want to keep switching to everything at the same time, but with no clear focus. Such as, if the SEO says, okay, well, the owner, as you're a business owner, you say, I need a TikTok, or we need this AI thing to do, or we need a newsletter. And it's just, the marketing team, or if you have an agency working for you, or if you're doing it yourself, it's hard to deliver everything at once. and doesn't have an actual business goal. And when the goal is unclear, even strong execution can become scattered. So I can have my next slide. I have some proof of a few companies that have come and gone. Some are still, WeWork is still out there researching themselves, but um, these are prime examples, and we could probably find more. So, like Kodak, they were obsessed with tactics instead of goals. So the leadership did not miss. They didn't miss the digital photography. They actually had a digital photography. But what happened with them is that they wanted to protect their film profit model instead of redefining the company goals, and eventually they disappeared. Quibi, I don't know if you heard of this company, but they were not around for very long. They were like a streaming service. I think I need somebody here. They were a streaming service, and they were affected by the business posting constantly with no position. Is that they spent a lot of money in content and production. They did a lot of like short videos online. But they struggle with the basic strategic question: what exactly was it for, and why would that audience choose it over YouTube or TikTok, Netflix, or Instagram? So that's kind of what failed them. For WeWork, um, it was that the startup constantly they kept changing their priorities. So uh, it was it was execution bad, and it was also leadership that kept pushing and fast moving, and they're also unstable vision. So they kept, sometimes they were saying they were like a tech company, they were a lifestyle brand, part of a global movement. Uh, so their priorities are very blurry and uh, made them lose focus, which eventually they had to file for Chapter 9 bankruptcy. And just recently they kind of restructured. As far as BlackBerry goes, they were obsessed with tactics instead of their goals. So um, they kept competing on the device features, the keyboard loyalty, and incremental platform responses, while the market already shifted to a bigger strategic battle, such as touchscreen and smartphones. And plus they had a strong app ecosystem, while BlackBerry just was more focused on their own product. So how do we diagnose a for you guys to assign here? So how can we diagnose a marketing problem? So there's two main focuses that you can tell right away. That I choose is you either have a low lead volume. So let's say you're trying all kinds of marketing stuff, online ads or online postings or networking events, and and you have a low lead volume, which often signals a lack of strategic direction, resulting in missed opportunities to engage potential customers effectively and efficiently, or you're getting a high cost per lead. A high cost per lead frequently indicates inefficient marketing efforts, suggesting that without proper leadership, resources are wasted on tactics that do not drive conversions and growth. So those are the two key factors that you might have an issue. And what can be the root cause of that? So is two things mainly, and that's not a clear strategy, number one. So if you have a lack of cohesive marketing strategy that leads to confusion and misalignment with your teams, it can result in ineffective campaigns that fail to drive growth and engage customers effectively. And by that, I also mean like if you don't have a clear mission, a purpose for being besides economics or besides making a lot of money, um, if you don't have a clear USP, which is a unique selling proposition, what makes you unique versus other competitors? One thing, one thing I wrote on a recent post I did on LinkedIn is something to think about as small business owners. If your company disappears tomorrow, would would it be missed, or would current clients find a replacement right away, like the next day? I mean, eventually they're gonna find a replacement, but are you actually gonna be missed or not? Um, if the answer is no, then you have to, go back to the drawing board and look at your uh, what strategy, what makes you unique, and what makes people want to come to you. And then the other part is the undefined ICP, which is ICP. It stands for ideal customer profile. And without an ideal customer profile, your marketing efforts become scattered, making it difficult to target your messaging effectively and leading to wasted resources and missed opportunities for engagement. So understanding the typical startup structure, and I think looking from most of you guys here, look like most of your startup or pretty small businesses. So most of how we'll function as a small business is you're the founder or the owner, and you're the central figure and you're responsible for your entire vision and your strategy. Um, as you grow, you might hire a agency, which the agency, such as like, agencies like as myself, like a marketing agency or a design agency or a web development, that they will take care of, your website or your online stuff, or your advertising online. So those are the agencies that I named here. But then there's the missing leadership can be, the absence of strategic marketing leadership. A lot of times it can be the founder, but a lot of times the founder is busy with um, other operational things in the business. And as you can see here we can talk more about that. So the leadership gap is the marketing disconnect. So there's no ownership. Marketing strategy often lacks clear ownership, leading to confusion and misalignment among teams. When no one takes responsibility, initiatives can become unfocused and ineffective to drive growth. The agency execution. So agencies frequently execute marketing initiatives without adequate direction. This disconnect results in disjointed efforts that fail to align with the company's overall objectives and growth strategies. Like with the overall company objectives and growth strategies, um, is not the agency's job to do it. So they will not take care of that. So if you tell them you want ads, they're gonna create ads. If you tell them you want social media posts, they're gonna create some posts. You can be perfectly executed. Um, but if there's no clear objectives, you're probably not gonna get the results you're looking for. And then the third issue is the reactive founder. So founders often react to immediate challenges. You're usually like just putting out fires as the owner of a company, of a small company, instead of proactively leading marketing strategy. And this can hinder the development of cohesive marketing vision that supports long-term growth and success. Um, I mean, at the same time, as a founder, as a leader, you also want to be, the visionary, not always the one doing operations. So why this happens? A lot of these things happens, because of course, there's an economics thing for small business. So salary of other employee. Many startups struggle to justify hiring someone, to do strategic thinking of the strategy. It's like a full-time CMO, or it can be a marketing director possibly. leading to a critical gap in strategic marketing leadership that limits growth and direction. And then, um, so if you don't hire another owner, then another employee, then the owner will be overstretched. So founders often wear too many hats, they making it challenging for them to focus on critical leadership tasks, which can hinder overall marketing effectiveness and organizational alignment. And then the last part is I see a lot of owners will rely a lot on the agencies. So while agencies, they do play a vital role in expecting them to figure it out without clear direction from leadership, they can result in misaligned efforts and ineffective marketing strategies at the end of the day. So now we go into how we can work on this as business owners. Uh, you want to make sure you have at least these two clear and defined. As I previously mentioned, a clear ICP. Um, how many, can I see like a raise of hand or if anybody want to comment? How many have a defined ICP? Right? If you don't know what ICP is, it stands for ideal customer profile. Yeah?
I do not.
Oh, you don't have your, okay. Let's see. Oh, Sherry, I don't. Okay. So, uh, ideal client profile, you want to kind of visualize what your ideal client looks like, and you can create a persona. Some companies even name them, give them names. You can create like one to five different types. And what you want to do, you want to visualize that person. So it's right in front of you. That's your ideal client. What they look like, what is their age, what is their sex, what background do they come from, um, what's their education level, what's their income level, what kind of profession they work. You kind of want to cater depending on your business, what metrics do matter. But besides the like the basic stuff that I just mentioned, also look at the psychographics of a person. And that includes like your core, what are the core motivations of that person? What is their pain related beliefs? What are their values? What are the goals and aspirations? And very important is what are the fears and objections. So once you have that clearly defined, it makes the life of an agency owner or even like someone that works in marketing, like myself or someone similar to me, a lot easier to help you guys market. Um, who we're marketing to, how they look like, especially with the psychographics part, which is like what motivates them. Everything is motivational based. So if you can build campaigns based on their motivators, like what they value, what they fear, and what are the goals, and how you can help them achieve those, then yeah, you are golden. And then the second part is a strong positioning. Strong positioning means, what makes you unique is your unique selling proposition. Just like us, like we're as us as people, we're all unique and we're all different. All of us, we are humans. We all share very similar DNA, but at the same time, we're all unique. And that same role plays with companies. Even if you have a close competitor, you want to be able to clearly define what makes you different and show it. So you might not, you might know it, but other people might not see that. So you want to make sure, you are showing it what makes you actually unique and different and maybe better than a competitor. And then once we have that, it makes it easier to create, clear systems that can help you increase your leads or lower your cost of leads, as we talked on the previous webinar. But you want you then once you have your clear customer profile and what makes you unique, what defines you as a unique company is defining your funnel. So you establish a clear pathway for your customer journey. A customer journey, if you see on this graph, is just like the funnel. At the top of the funnel is when they become aware of your business, that your business actually exists, and they start exploring you. So you get like a cold lead, or you meet someone new at a conference or a networking event, or they see a posting you put on social media. That's awareness. Then once you go deeper in the funnels, you go into consideration. So start considering why would they go with you versus another person, or are they right? Are you right for them or not? And then, then you go to decision making, and then you also want to close the funnel with a post purchase option. How would they come back, or how would they give you more leads if your business is a one-time thing and they're done. And then measurable KPIs. KPIs stands for key performance indicators. Uh, you want to implement specific metrics to track your progress effectively. Uh, the only way to really know if something's working is if you start measuring and measuring the correct measurements, the key metrics that you, based on your goals, what can be done. And then, just the third part is just align your teams. Uh, most of your, I think most of your solopreneurs looks like, so you don't really have a team, but a lot of times you have collaborators, or you working eh, with a partner, or you have someone else. So you'd be good. It's, it's easier to foster this collaboration across partners for optimal results. Um, and so your execution optimization, and that will improve your conversion. So enhancing your conversion rates leads to significant growth. By optimizing this process and aligning marketing efforts, businesses can effectively convert leads into loyal customers, driving overall success. And the second part is the consistent marketing. So consistency in marketing efforts fosters trust and brand loyalty. With optimized leadership, messaging becomes clear, resulting in a strong connection with the audience and improved overall performance. So, does anybody have a questions, or so far so good? No questions? Okay. I'll make sure I'm not going too fast. Um, Well, the next part is the fractional advantage, and how this can be a benefit for small businesses is, instead of hiring a person or a marketing director, or an executive to take care of this part in your business. That is, if you don't have the time, or if you're using already 20 hats, is a good option is getting a fractional, someone that comes in maybe once a week or once a month. Um, just to give some guidance and to see it in a different perspectives. They're not, so buried in your own business, and they can see it from the outside perspective. It always gives you a good indicator, a good idea how you're doing. Because sometimes you're so, funnel vision. I highly recommend this. So hiring a fractional, CMOs as chief marketing officer reduces cost significantly while providing essentially marketing leadership. This approach allows companies to access top tier expertise without the long-term financial commitment for a full-time hire. And also they do, is swift execution. Fractional CMOs facilitate prompt decision making and implementation, helping businesses avoid leadership delays. They ensure that marketing strategies are executed efficiently, and they're keeping teams aligned and focused on growth objectives. And that is pretty much my presentation for today. And I wanted to invite you guys for the next one of this series, the Story of CMO. And the next part, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into, moving from the hustle to the scalable lead generation engine. How, we're gonna attract more leads, and that'll be April the 15th from 2 to 3 p.m. Um, you're also welcome to, email me or book a call. Uh, and I gladly can go over any of your challenges in your businesses that are unique that you might have.